Hi and welcome. I'm Valerie, and my co-host is Laura McCabe. And we're very happy tonight to see all of you here. And we've prepared some interesting videos, short but cool, thanks to a lot of you. And we welcome you also to show. We welcome you to show, if you want to show your bead storage units somehow. You can do that without having sent something in advance. That's fine. Everyone is welcome and we'll accommodate everybody. As I was just saying to Laura, we
I'll just put it
could
on
you
mute
turn
for a
your
second.
sound off just for a little bit.
There we go.
We co-create these meetings, we create them together, and that's part of the fun, is that they're scripted a little bit, but they're not scripted that much. So we're just here to enjoy each other's company and learn from one another to the extent we can. All right. What am I forgetting to say, Laura?
Next time, we're gonna do, when is that? In a month. We're
Yeah.
gonna do our topic for next time is gonna be beading and travel. So it can be beading that you did when you were traveling, beading that was inspired by your traveling, beading that you discovered while you were traveling, anything like that. So we'll do that end of May. It'll be the last Friday in May. So um, wanted to say that. And also, Maggie's not with us tonight. She's got family stuff going on, but she did very kindly send us a little PowerPoint of images of her studio. So we'll put that up later so you guys can see that too. So, yeah.
So we are, Laura is our moderator, and she's going to choose the people who we spotlight, the people whose videos we watch, and the people we talk to. And if you have questions, just ask your questions. That's fine. We're very casual, and we'll just take it from there. So please proceed, Laura.
Okay. I have, you know what I'm going to ask you guys quickly? You can just do like a show of hands. I have a bunch of stuff that you guys have sent me. So any of you guys that have I've been in contact with, I have your images. Is there anybody who has stuff they want to share who hasn't sent it to me? You're just here checking it out, or yeah. So you can you know uh speak up at any time. But what I'll do is I'm just going to go through the ones that I do have, and we can talk about those and then ask questions, and then we'll go from there. But let me see. I have to bear with me while I kind of work around all of this because I'm going to be doing shares. So we have some videos and we also have some like PowerPoint images. So I'll be showing you guys both of those. Um, Carmen, do we have Carmen here? Is Carmen here? Did you did you say Carmen wasn't coming?
I don't know if she was coming or not. I just know that she sent some images and we created a video. Um,
Okay, I'll set hers aside just in case she does come a little later, we can watch it. Dawn.
Dawn is here. Hi,
Hi.
Dawn. Do you want to turn your microphone on? Dawn, I'm hoping that you will speak when Laura plays your video, that you will speak and kind of tell us about each image, kind of briefly, because I didn't allow too much time for each image. But it's great
Right.
that you're here. You're here from Korea, right?
hmm
Whereabouts in Korea are you right now?
I'm I'm outside of Seoul, about an hour in Incheon. It's Incheon is where the airport is located.
My dad was in Incheon during the Korean War.
Oh,
I know that for a fact. That's how I know Incheon, but apart from that, no. So Laura, shall we start with Dawn?
Yeah, yes, we shall. Let me see, get my share going on here. I think share so you guys can see that. Can you?
Yes,
hmm
we see it.
Okay, so let me just hit play and we'll let Dawn tell you about it.
So John, just chip in and tell us what's going on here in each image.
This is an example of a classical bojagi done in jogakbo. Bojagi means wrapping cloth, and so there's a variety of techniques. This is jogakbo, where they take scraps of fabric and put them together in very artistic ways.
And this is what you're doing in your beadwork right now. You're trying to combine beadwork with bojagi, right?
Right. I also am learning traditional bojagi like this, and I've done a few pieces.
And your teacher is Chungi Lee, is that correct?
Yes.
from
Yes.
RISD, the Rhode Island School of Design. So a very prestigious, wonderful teacher.
Yes.
And this is one of your pieces.
Yes, this is a piece that was recently in a show in Florida under Chung-Hee Lee. And she asked me to do a beadwork piece that would link into Bajagi. And so this was my interpretation of that. And I wanted the squares to kind of imitate the beginning. When you first learned Bajagi, Jogakbo, you do it in squares.
And Bajagi means it kind of you're using it in the sense of thrown away things, extraneous things, scraps that are
Yes.
thrown away by our cultures, but that the people who practice Bojagi are preserving, right, as things they can make art with. And here's an example of Bojagi in your necklace design.
Right. So Chung-Hee Lee is very, very contemporary. She has led the movement of contemporary interpretation of traditional Bajagi, and her interpretation is pretty wide. And this is my beadwork interpretation of Bajagi, which is pieces that were used as maybe starts of projects that didn't work out, or samples that I did before I started a larger project. And I would just throw them in a box. And one day I took them out and I was like, this is the perfect Bajagi. And so I put them together to create a piece. And I specialize in doing contemporary beadwork pieces that are neck pieces. I love doing neck pieces as that expression. And this to me just seemed a really great way to combine those two things. So it's about scraps of materials, but also the fact that as a mixed race Korean adoptee, we were, let's say, encouraged to leave the country because we would dilute the bloodlines there. Yeah.
So we should be seeing the next image, excuse me, the detailed shot of this any minute now.
Yeah, sorry about that. I keep pausing it.
Oh, thank you, Laura. That's actually great. We want to get to the
Don't want
detail.
you have to talk too quickly, so.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what we want to see. Tell us about this, Dawn. This is the detail image.
Well, many of my pieces use that face image. And the face image is a reference to our adoptee photos that are taken when we are brought to the orphanage. And they're put in a catalog, and parents can go through the catalog and pick one of us out. But they do this face. And when parents adopted children from Korea, especially the girls, they wouldn't know what to do with their hair. So they would cut it in this little, bangs and then this short thing. And it's really surprising to me how many adoptees reference that haircut. And so when I was doing these images, I wanted to reference that haircut. So that you see this face in a lot of my work. I just repeat the image over and over. So I had one of those faces and I threw it in, and then I thought, but I want to make an entire body out of it. And the bottom there is a leftover piece from, it was increasing herringbone so that it flares into like a flower shape. And I had one left over, so I turned it into the skirt.
Nice.
It's a beautiful piece.
Thank you.
Love it.
We're going again.
Any minute now, we're going to get to your storage system.
You can see a little sequin there over to the left of her. So I like using sequins too.
Oh, I see one. Okay, here's your storage, part of it.
Part of it. When I first worked, I was using a lot of Delica size 11s. And they were just in shoe boxes and I didn't know what to do with them. So I couldn't see them, and I kept buying the same colors over and over. And I thought if I could just see them. And so I had this image in my head of how I could use this space in my studio. There's a window right to the left there, and there's a wall to the right. So there's just this one small odd shaped space. And I thought, what if I could get a shelf that would be very thin in depth so that I could just put a jar of beads, but would fill the whole space. And I went on Marketplace and I actually found one for $5. That was a great moment, I tell you. It was just fabulous. So I bought it. I ran and bought it. I brought it home and it's perfect. And right above it, there just happens to be a halogen light. And so when I come into my studio every day and turn on the lights, this is what I see. And I love it because I can just see all the colors. I can go through them easily because the shelf is so narrow in depth. And I can put them away quickly because it's just right there. And it really has become the inspiration for how I should continue organizing my beads. But these are just the Delica 11. So the concept is that I will take other materials and isolate them and organize them in a way that I can access them easily, because this is working for me really well.
And it's beautiful. This is so inspiring when you walk into your studio and you see this in the morning.
It is for me, yeah.
I think for any one of us, it's just beautiful.
Thank you. So this is not so pretty, but again, I'm working on getting things organized so that like is with like. So the bottom is embroidery floss and the top two shelves are bugle beads and sequins. And those are check 11s.
Beautiful.
So getting closer to the original, yeah.
And what kind of jars are these? The round ones?
You can get them at Michael's.
Oh, they're great. I love
They're
them.
cool. Yeah.
Like party favors.
Oh, party favors. They're beautiful. Oh, and thank you very much, Dawn. That was very generous of you. And it's just so nice to get to know you a little bit better. And thank you for sharing
Thanks.
your life and your bead life with us.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming.
Excellent. Okay. Bear with me while I move everything around. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through in the order that I have them. Nancy, are you ready? Nancy? Graver?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Yeah. So what I did, Nancy, is I just put it into like slides. And so what I'll do is I'll open it up. Let me see if I can figure this all out because I haven't done one of these yet.
I'm not able to unspotlight Dawn. Can you unspotlight Dawn? Do you have that on your end?
She's not spotlighted on mine.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
not.
Spotlighted
not.
on mine. Oh, okay, fine.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
there should be a way in her picture. It should say remove spotlight. Does it say that?
No,
No?
that's why
Okay.
I'm confused. That's missing. Yeah.
Let me see. I'm trying to figure out how to do a slideshow now. Forgive me.
It's
Let's
okay,
see.
Laura, take your
Well,
time. Yeah.
I was definitely technically challenged when I sent them to you, Laura. So
Yeah, this has been a good technical exercise for all of us. Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, okay. I think I got this. Bear with me because I think I'm gonna have to go into it and then do it into a slideshow. So, I think, and
That's
then
pretty.
go into, let's see, file. Where was I? View, slideshow. Yes. Can you guys see that? Is it like a full
Yes. Yes, perfect.
Cool. Excellent. Okay, Nancy, you go.
all right. So so that you understand, this is a combination of a studio in Florida as well as my studio in Chicago. And when we moved from Chicago, it was pretty amazing, the excess that was evident. So the boxes, the plastic IKEA boxes on the side are all numbered, and I have lists of what's in them. And those have still not been unpacked and incorporated into the studio. And we moved from Chicago many years ago, but those are at this point primarily kits and materials and things like that I haven't had immediate need for, but I do know what's in them because as I said, I created a box system with numbers and listings. The bookcases on the on the right are in my studio. This is when we moved down here, one of the deals was that I got the excess bedroom is my studio. And of course, Joan was like, how much can you possibly have? And I have to tell you that doing this was an exercise in realizing what excess is. Um, the jars are just pharmacy jars that I get from Amazon, and they are primarily delicas. And in some cases, they're the 11s and 15s that go along with the delicas. And again, my labeler is my best friend. Some of the pieces on there, like the heart on that second, yeah, that one. That was a piece I created for my brother's 60th birthday. And I will tell you that one of the things that happens is that when people pass away, you end up getting pieces back. And he was a heart surgeon, so that came back to me. The boxes on the bottom are class instructions done alphabetically by different instructors, and some instructors have full boxes, like Laura McCabe, and others are a combination of different instructors. You want to go to another one, Laura?
Nope, absolutely. Oh,
I will admit that I did do some cleanup in terms of pushing things around. What I did when we moved down here was I bought Ikea Alex cabinets, and each of those drawers are full. And then the other picture is just more of the bookcase with different things. And the needlepoint, by the way, is something that I did myself, So there are 7 of these cabinets in the room. As I've said, it's not finished because I'd like to at some point hang some art or hang shelves on the side. But this is just an example. Like I have a drawer with 15s. I have a drawer with additional delicas. I have a drawer with 11s, or a couple of drawers with 11s. I have drawers with drops. I have drawers with check, some of the 2-hole beads and things like that. I know it doesn't look organized, but at least similar things are connected in the same place. There's one full cabinet that's crystal. Now, this is my other obsession. I collect cabochons, and a lot of this is thank you, Gary Wilson at Bead and Button. Although some of the things like the porcupine quills are, again, Laura, thank you. These are more delicate pieces, and they're just drawers of this stuff. One of the things that I've done is, or I'm in the process of doing, is setting it up in St. Petersburg. There's a pretty excellent art glass museum called the Imagine Museum, and things are set up. This is just the Raku collection. A lot of it is Mac Casperson, but I've set it up so that if something happens to me, when something happens to me, the art glass collection, and there are full pieces here, will go to the Imagine Museum. That's my hope, assuming that things are dealt with properly. And literally every single drawer of the 7 different IKEA cabinets are filled with things like this. Again, it doesn't seem very organized, but at least things are combined and pretty much kept together.
nice.
More art beads.
That was cool.
I don't know. Did I send you? I guess I didn't send you. There were a couple other pictures in the main part of the apartment. This is just where my studio materials are kept, but the light in there isn't as good as I like. So I work in a corner of my living room. I have a table that is my bead station to work in.
Oh yeah,
And
I know know if you sent me a picture. I don't know if I have a picture of that.
I thought I did, but it's not important. That's where I'm sitting right now. And then I have a really cool cabinet that I bought that has jewelry trays in it. And in that I have finished jewelry that I've done. And I again, in many cases I've separated it by designer or whatever. And a lot of them are just things that I wear very often seem to end up on top. But so there's stuff all over the apartment, but I have pretty much localized materials and storage in the one room.
Nice.
I think
Yeah.
you've done a beautiful job, Nancy. I mean, I love your IKEA units, the drawers. I like some now that I've seen yours. And I'm fine with your level of organization because as you said, everything is in the same place, the same drawer, has the same kind of thing, and that's really all you need.
Mm.
You know?
Well, yeah, except that I will say it could be even better organized because I do find that I tend to buy the same thing. Like if I'm buying a Delica, I don't always go to check to see if I already have it, which is, I think we all know what that's like.
Yeah.
We know what it's like. And so for that, you need to hire a curator, right?
Yeah.
They stock of everything and inventory and tell you what not to buy and,
So this was a good exercise, though, in terms of recognizing what's there.
You did a beautiful job and you have a beautiful collection.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you
Okay.
for sharing with us.
Do you guys want to do Maggie, even though she's not here? Should we do
Maggie.
Maggie's little, let's see if I can figure this one out too. Let me see. I'm not super proficient in the sharing on Zoom. Let's see.
Okay, take your time.
I think we got it. I sort of know what I'm doing now. Let's see. Okay, and I think you're seeing Maggie's, right? So
We
we
are.
need
We are.
you. You.
Becca's.
Slideshow. Okay, here we go. So everyone can see that, right? Okay, so Maggie kind of, because she's not here, she wrote the descriptions. So I'll just read through as we do them. So Maggie said, this wall is used to hold my seed beads on curtain rods by size and color. I had 4 long rods across the wall, used baggies and hanging tubes on shower curtain hooks. Since I'm not teaching and designing beadwork as much, the beads are stored and I put up this beautiful wall hanging from the United Arab Emirates. I love to look at it while I'm working. And Maggie and I got that together when we were shopping at an antique market. So I recognize that. Okay, the bulk of my beads are now in a 32-gallon storage bin at my outside studio where I make mosaics and work with clay. Of course, I keep some I keep some of the sizes and shapes in my home studio because I always bead at home. The cabinet holds size 15, size 11, size 15s and size 11 cylinders. They are stored by size and color. I haven't read any of this yet. So I borrowed this idea from Laura McCabe. She has wonderful metal boxes, and they were painted with auto paint. I found this antique tool chest and painted it bright blue. The top drawers are filled with vintage seed beads. The group of drawers are filled with semi-precious stones. Next set is crystals. The bottom 2 drawers are filled with assorted items and sequins. Also, my beading needles and threads are in 2 of the drawers. Cylinder and shaped beads. I store them in acrylic boxes in my converted studio closet. I gotta move us over because I'm blocking us. Okay. One of my collection boxes, drawers contain my cameo collections, micro mosaics, plaster casts of gemstones from the Grand Tour, from Victorian times and before. So that's that. I think, is that it? That's it? That's it.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Stop share. Okay.
Yeah, I like
Excellent.
Maggie's blue, the one she painted blue, the metal storage, the shelving drawers that she painted blue.
I love those. They're
You're-
great. That's what I have one that mine was a watchmaker's cabinet, and they're metal. And what I do is I'll pick them up. Like sometimes you can find them. We have a lot of antique shops and shows and flea markets and stuff here. And so what I'll do is if I can find one that's like relatively inexpensive, you can get the automotive guys who do the automotive paint to like sandblast it and then they'll paint it for you. And it's like really nice. You can get a really nice finish on it. So that's what I do with mine. And they worked out really nice and they're kind of fun and cool.
And they don't rust then over time when you get a good coat of paint on them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they really do hold up really nicely. And you can get it's really cool because they're the automotive guys. They have all the like metal flake paint and everything, so you can get really interesting colors and all that. So, okay, so next, trying to stay organized here. And here, Ziva, you want to tell us about yours if I pull up the pictures? Let's see. I think you're on mute, and let me do a share.
So I was on mute. So I can
Share.
start by showing you the wall to my right, which has lots of beads in those, hanging things that for jewelry, I use it to store beads.
Is that
And
is that
what?
the other picture, Ziva? Because I have two pictures.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about. I sent you two pictures, but I'm first talking about my wall here, where you can see that all the, beads for stringing or using in my bead weaving work are hanging.
Cool.
The room itself has multi-purposes. It's my guest room, it's my piano room, and it's my studio. So I'm trying to be very organized, extremely organized, so I have control on what's happening here. So the wall that you see in the picture is actually a wall unit that has a Murphy bed in it. And on the side, there are all the drawers with the beads, the seed beads. I organize them by size and colors. And above, those are storage boxes for shaped beads.
Excellent. I have the other picture now too, Ziva. You want me to switch over to the other picture that you sent me?
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's the other side of the wall unit.
Okay, yeah, let's see if I can do this quickly. Let me see, share. I think is this it? I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
That was the other
So
one.
that closet is also full with beads and boxes and stuff, but I'm showing you how it looks like when it's closed.
Nice.
And, yeah, and all the books are beading books and some of my grandchild toys. And the bottom kind of like cabinet has all kinds of silver findings.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Very
That's
nice.
all.
There's a lot to be said for cabinet doors that you can close, you know?
It's true.
Uh-huh.
It's true. Yes.
Yeah.
It's good. It keeps it looking tidy.
Mhm. Thank you,
Okay.
Ziva, for sharing with us.
Okay, so let's see who we got here. Just stay organized. Nina. I got Nina's here. Let me open this up. And we got Nina here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I had to unmute myself. Hopefully my dogs won't start barking again.
Oh. Well, let's see. Okay, I got this. Gonna do a share.
Nina, just of course, feel free to narrate, to tell us what's what. Okay.
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 That's just me. This is one of my favorite necklaces. So this was done with the Tim Holtz scrapbook gears. it's years ago. And in fact, Tim asked me to do the necklace for him for his booth. So if you ever see one in Tim Holt's booth, it's one that I did for him. But I used to, and this is the one I wore constantly.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Thank
that
you.
is beautiful. It's very cool. I love the gears.
Yeah. Yeah. And you definitely want to get the scrapbook gears and not the ones out of the bead section, because those are flimsy.
Good to know.
This is just a freeform piece that I did. Yeah, because I love those colors and I wear that a lot.
Mm,
Or I
nice.
used to wear it a lot. I don't wear big jewelry like that anymore.
Mm.
I just don't have the places that I go to wear it.
Mm.
Though I am wearing my bracelet. I did wear it today. I was babysitting today. So okay, so this piece, this is one of my favorite pieces. This actually is a wooden wall unit, and it came out of TI, Texas Instruments, surplus equipment. And it originally was a parts tray, and then all the boxes came from Michael's. So and the boxes there, you can see I do have them labeled. I have some beads, my Prismacolor markers, embroidery flosses, etc., and I organize them in the boxes.
Nice.
Beautiful,
Looks
very
very
concise,
tidy.
very precise.
Yes.
Very tidy.
Yeah, and that's actually what I look at when I'm sitting here in my studio. This is just inside one of those boxes. These are the Craft Make storage boxes. I left the beads in here that I don't use as much. These are crystals, and I just don't use them that much. But yeah, the Craft Make boxes, they come in handy. They're not good for traveling though. I found that like this is some of my leftover seed beads that are still in the Craft Make boxes. I'd find when I would go to a convention and I'd have an idea for something that I wanted to work on, I would have to take one or two beads out of the boxes, and I hated it. This is the wall behind me. This actually was my husband built this for me. It actually was for paints, because before I beaded, I painted. And these, the majority of these with the blue tops, those are tubes. I don't know what they originally stored, but again, they came from a surplus business, and they're ideal for the bigger beads. So glass beads are on one side, and semi-precious and natural beads are on the other side, and
Nice.
wood beads.
Your husband did a beautiful job.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been painted a time or two.
This is my most favorite way of storing beads.
Yeah.
It came from surplus equipment. I'm not sure what it was, probably a parts tray, but it's really cool because
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, those are Super Duos, the Super Duo minis there.
And they don't roll. And I have the top two drawers in this are my Super Duos. And then the rest of my seed beads are all arranged by color.
I do most everything is arranged by colors. All of my shirts are arranged by colors. My shoes are arranged by colors. Everything in my house is arranged by color. My embroidery threads, my paints, everything is arranged by colors, because that's how I choose.
How your brain back
Down.
Wow.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
it is such a cool piece. And actually to the left of that is another one of those pieces, and I have fabrics in it from sewing.
Beautiful. Well done. Well done.
Wow.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing with us.
Okay, let's see. Who do we got left? Dawn. Carmen. Is Carmen with us?
She didn't say if she was coming, you know?
Yeah. Do you want me to? I can put that up though.
Yeah,
I think that's yeah. You did this one, Valerie. I think right.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So let me do the um. If I can do the share. Um. Okay. There we go.
And this is Carmen's work, right? I took it
Oh, wow.
from her website. On the top, she has these car bracelets. I'm sorry, I don't know what she calls them, which are pretty darn cool. And on the bottom left and the bottom right, two other bracelets. And this is a large storage unit she has, obviously. And when you pull open the drawers, as we'll see in a minute, she's got all different kinds of materials in there.
I love cabinets of drawers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Good one.
And here's an example of what she has in one drawer. Can't quite see, but I don't know, maybe cabochons and
Yeah, it looks like some crystal in there.
wires and crystals. Yeah, they're nice and roomy, and they're relatively tall, so you're not squishing, you're not having to squish your materials, which I appreciate. And another one, lots of diversity,
Sequins.
sequins. Never know when you're going to need them.
Nope.
Sorry, I didn't know how long to make these images. And looks like maybe marbles.
Yep. Looks
Yep.
like a little span.
Yeah. And then she's got some beaded.
And maybe teardrop beads.
Could be
Those clusters. Yeah.
Yeah. Could be. Yeah. Beautiful. And another one.
It's so fun to check out other people's stuff.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, look at that lion. That is so cool.
That is
Yeah,
like the
fun.
Lord and Taylor box. That's very cool. That's very old. And she has a smaller unit too, apparently also on wheels.
And those are like the flat files that you get for paper.
Oh, okay. Flat files. Okay. Finished with wood.
Very nice.
And then in a minute, we'll see that, oh, another one. And then she's got some tubes of seed beads inside.
Kind of cool drawer pulls on that.
Yeah. Okay, here are her different tubes of greens and blues. Really nice.
Nice.
Very choice. That's all you need. That's all you need. That's enough. So I'm sorry she couldn't be here to, explain to us herself, but we got by.
Yeah, it's just fun to see other people's stash and
It is, yeah. So thank you, Carmen in absentia, for sharing your storage system with us.
Well,
okay.
it's really interesting to see how people who've been beading a lot longer than me, or a lot more intensely than me, bead, and how they keep everything.
It is really interesting. Yeah, because it takes a while to get the right system too. Like I think everybody's brain's a little different, so you have to kind of get what works for.
I've gone through so many different ones. I think I mentioned I started out with watchmaker tins in cigar boxes, which are nice and pretty, but watchmaker tins are not secure. Yeah. Lots of accidents. And then I went to the Craftmate storage boxes, and like I said, I would be going to a conference or something, or a bead retreat, and I'd go, oh, I need this bead and this bead out of this box and this, and you can't carry 20 boxes, so I was always having to rebox stuff.
Yeah.
So my favorite's still the Tic Tac type containers, because they don't roll and they stack beautifully.
Yeah. No, that's what I can relate to that. When I first started beading a million years ago, I had printers, print type chests. So I don't know if you've ever seen that, but they're these giant drawers and they're all split up for the print. But it was the same thing. It's like you put your beads in there, but then if you want to take them somewhere else,
Yeah.
Dig through them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So okay, let us see. So that was Carmen. We did Nina. I think Valerie, it's you and me. I think. I don't
Okay.
think
You want to be next, Laura?
you want me to go?
Yeah, you go.
Okay. So I'll just tell you guys that I did a little part of a video for my first master class, and when I did it, I did a little section in my studio. It's a little like tour of my studio and my organization. So I just kind of clipped it out, and I figured I would show you guys that if you want to see that. And it just kind of shows you like the way mine are. Now, what you're looking at too is my own personal area. I have, of course, because of the business, there's a whole other area where I keep the stuff for the kits and that sort of thing. But this is going to be just where I keep my stuff. So let's see. Here we go. Share. And I'll let myself narrate it as I do in the video. So. Okay, so I just wanted to take a moment to kind of show you how I organize my stuff here. So, like I mentioned, everybody has their own preferences when it comes to how to organize. You kind of need to figure out what works for you and for your brain. But this is how I do it. These are just from Ikea. These guys, they're great. And I do it, if you have a look, you'll see I've actually organized them by type of bead and also by color. So, for example, starting all the way over here, I have my 15 rounds. And I have them in, I have reds and pinks, oranges. So it's going through the spectrum. That's how I kind of organize them. And then I will start with my 11s. And again, same thing. I go through the spectrum with the 11s. So I keep each type of bead separate. The reason being, you need them for different reasons. So it's nice to know that when you go to that drawer, it's all cylinder beads, but it's your green cylinder beads or whatever you're looking for. So it's worked really well for me. I like these drawers here too. If you have a look at them, you can see I don't keep them particularly tidy, but I do keep what I need in there. This is my precious metal 15s here. I like them because the bottom is white, so you can really see the color quite well. So that's another thing I like about these cabinets. They're really quite good in that regard. So so that's kind of how I organize. I tend to keep all my seed beads over in this part of the room. There's other types of seed beads beyond the 11s, the cylinders, and the 15s. So I have separate drawers for those. Like here's some 3 cuts down here, and I have Charlotte's over here. So I kind of organize that way. Most of my more unusual components and elements are in a separate part, so I'm going to show you that in a little while. But this is kind of the seed bead section over here. So that kind of, like I said, for me that works. For you, you got to figure out what works as far as how you think when you design. But for me, I design in color spectrum, so that's kind of how I've set everything up here. And we're going to go to the other side of the room in a minute, and I'm going to show you how the rest of the stuff is stored. Okay, so as for the rest of it, kind of beyond the seed beads, the more interesting elements and other bits and pieces, my crystal, whatnot. I have it all organized here. This is just a nice old specimen cabinet, actually. But I've marked everything. Like if you look real close at the drawers, you can see everything's kind of marked. I keep a lot of my my stones over here as well. I like to kind of keep those in this section here. And then I have, this is all Swarovski along here. I have everything, again, kind of sorted by type. That's what I do here. At this point, it's not really a spectrum thing anymore. It's just the seed beads that I keep as a spectrum. But I have all my other things, my bugle beads, sort of different bits and pieces. So this is my own personal stash. I have obviously what I use to make kits and everything. That's in a separate area, but this is where I work from. So when I'm doing my design work, I generally tend to work from the beads that are in this area here. And so that's kind of how I've organized them. I did mention I am inclined to kind of put some interesting bits and pieces out and about around to kind of remind myself what I have. It's a great way to design. I talk about that again this week. But I keep things like my eyes and some of my stone points and stuff like that just kind of lying around to kind of give me ideas about some things that I want to do. So that's just a brief tour of the studio here. Okay.
Nice, Laura. Great.
In my studio.
Or IKEA cabinets. Very nice.
I am obsessed with antique cabinets of drawers. So slowly I'm kind of putting them, everywhere. But actually I have to say, like I'm with Nancy on the IKEA those are fantastic. They're not terribly expensive, and they seem to be they hold a lot of bead weight, I can say from experience. So I do the same thing. My stock for kit production is the same way. It's all like type of bead and bispectrum, so it's organized the same way. Yeah.
And could I just say, it's a little obnoxious that you're that agile, that you can actually get down to point out things on the floor. And I'm just giving you shit, Laura.
Thank you, Nancy. My son, exactly. She's so very
I'm
young.
one of those who, if I get down on the floor, I got to figure out
How to get up.
getting down isn't hard. Getting up is another story.
Aw. Okay. I think Valerie, yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
ready for
Yeah.
your turn?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Oh.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me see. I'm gonna do a share. Let's see. Share.
Move
Share.
this.
Share.
Okay, have
Oh.
it. So I'm just showing a couple pieces I have made in the past. This is of sterling silver beads and sterling silver castings that I had a wax carver carve for me to my specifications. So it's a brooch, right? It's just an example of the kind of pieces I would make in silver. But the beads I want to show you in this short video are all color, all glass, mostly glass and color, right? So this is from a while ago. And here's an example of the delicas I've used and combined with sterling silver beads and discs and stuff like that. So I love color, and I also love monochrome, the monochrome that I can get from using all metal beads. I love them both. So this will play for a while.
Yeah, I didn't want to. Yeah.
And in the beginning, when I first started out, I had little boxes, little black boxes that I would fill with beads and put inside little drawers that would go in a plastic drawer cabinet, just this very standard cabinet that I used to get at hardware stores. But over the years, I found out that it's just not really not exactly what I need. I needed a bigger storage system because I was buying beads in greater quantity. Because of course I was making a living. I was selling production pieces of jewelry. So I had to be sure I had enough of each color. So this is around the year 2000 or so. My little great wall of beads, as I call it, and organized like everyone else by color, by spectrum, And it was fuller then. It's less full now, as you'll see, but it's still pretty full. And I still have like 2 lifetimes worth of beads at this point. So this is as of today. I just made this quickly today.
Wow.
Quite a few, too many for one lifetime, the rest of this lifetime. Anyway, and then just some close-up images. I had a sale, a seed bead sale a few months ago, and I put together this quick video to show the different colors, to give a sense of how many colors I have, mostly antique European. I did not include in these videos my delicas, of which I have quite a few, but these are just mostly Europeans.
Wow.
So I used to love really tiny, tiny beads.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a bunch of micro beads in there, huh?
A lot of micro beads. I love them. Yeah, old French or Belgian sequins, aluminum, antique French aluminum, and that's it. That's me.
Valerie, that's your insurance policy. The more that you have, nothing can happen to you until you use all the beads.
Right, Nancy. You said it. It's a way to live forever,
Right, exactly.
Yep. Because they can never go to anyone else, of course. They can only stay with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have to be mine forever. No, just kidding. They have to go somewhere else, in the not too distant future. Does anyone else want to show a little bit of
I think I did everybody who I have images and videos from, but does anyone else want to share or perhaps have questions?
Well, I'm gonna just, I actually so I have recently, in the last 2.5 years, relocated from a house, a fairly modern house, that was built 40 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, to a house that's built in 1940 in Philadelphia. And in 1940, people didn't have closets, or they didn't have very big closets. So this room has that closet, and that's the size of all the closets in all 3 bedrooms. And one of the bedrooms is actually, not much bigger than a walk-in closet that we had in our old house. That was a modern house. And the rooms are pretty small too. And we downsized significantly. And in fact, I gave away some of my beads. But what I've discovered that's working for me is what I pulled out in back of me. Can you see? Now, I won't be able to lift this up. So this is a guest room. And so I've invested in underbed storage containers.
Mhm.
And they just slide out from underneath the bed. And I also have an IKEA cabinet in this room that is not in this picture, that because I've been using IKEA for a long time. But these have really helped with some of my my storage issues with some of the beads I've bought recently, because since I've retired, I've had more time to bead. And so it's also very nice because when they pull out, it's like having a drawer. You look down and you can see everything. And what's in there is organized by type and color. And you can get 8 of them underneath a queen size bed, which is great. And another thing that I have that I wanted to show everybody is, I don't know if you've seen these desk organizers before, but they have little sticky up things and you can just put everything in them, and that makes it's a pretty small fingerprint. So I like that for my tools and my readers and stuff like that. And there goes the scissors, things fall out. And then in my cabinet, because it has glass fronts on it, I think I showed this earlier. I have for years I've been giving people these for Christmas, the chocolates that come in these. And then afterwards I ask for the box back, and they're nice and flat and you can see what's in them. So this one just has some of the beaded beads I've made.
Nice. Beautiful. What a great idea.
Well, it works.
Huh.
Yeah. One of the things I was going to share with you guys too, and I'm realizing I didn't have it in my videos, but one of the things that I find is that there's never enough horizontal space for my bead boards. It's always a problem because there's usually about 42 of them going at the same time. So what I had is the bead boards I use are, here's one that's all loaded up, but I use like jewelry trays, like with the velvet insert. That's what I bead on. You know, there's all different ones that you can use, but usually I use those ones. I do have some bead on it boards too. But most of my projects are stored on that. And I had someone a few years ago build me, they're like little, almost like a little shelf with very closely together shelves. And it was built exactly to that size. So I can actually store about 12 of them in there. And it's great because you can you don't have to clean up, which is always nice. You just shove it in there. And it's really good for making things look tidy, but then not having to, because I found with the beads, like to have to put it away is a pain. And then, whatever. The only thing is I have to say some of them, sometimes I'll go in to go clear them up and I realize it's a project that's been there for like 3 years, and I haven't worked on it. But something like that works really nicely if you want to be able to keep your boards open without them having to cover your entire, dining room table or whatever. So, but yeah, anything where they're very, very close together, so it doesn't take a lot of space. But that's a good storage system.
I love that.
Yeah, it works. So
I stack mine in those suitcase boxes on the shelves.
yeah, that's what,
Yeah.
because you just it's such a to-do to put them away every time. At least the way I work, it's like an explosion
Yeah.
on my board. So yeah.
Well, Before we close, I want to give a special thanks to Valerie and to Laura for all the extra work they did this month in preparing all these presentations. And yeah, I mean, above and beyond, ladies.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's out of the joy, the love of this field, the love of, having all of us here together. And seeing everybody's different creativity, how it manifests, and the choices people make.
I would like to ask.
Valerie and Laura, I was just looking there. It looks like there's some questions on the chat. I don't know if you saw them.
Okay. No, thank you, Nancy. I have not been looking.
Oh, yeah.
It just came up on my
Oh
screen.
yeah, and Billy had a question too, right? Billy, were you gonna ask?
Oh, yes. I was going to ask, I took pictures of my studio, but I didn't know what to do with them. I'm not a high-tech person, even though I retired from Silicon Valley, but everything has changed since I retired. Now, I was blessed enough I built my house in 93. The first thing I designed was a studio. However, I was not beading a lot at the time. I'm more of I designed garments is what I did in the Bay Area, more or less. And I'm a tax accountant. So I designed my studio more or less for sewing machine and sewing. And just since I started beading within the last, couple of years, that I'm really working on storage. And I have a lot of places to store fabric, and I have a lot of storage places for beading, but nothing like you ladies. I mean, this is going to make me go out and spend lots of money, because now I got to redesign my sewing room, my beading room. But I guess my big question is, do you just take the pictures and send them to Laura? Oh, how did that happen? I'm not a video person. I don't know how.
Well,
So what
you could send them to us. You could email them to Laura right now or to me, and we could find a way to bring them up. Or we could do share screen. Do you have them on your computer?
No, I just have them on my phone for now.
Well, Laura, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we could include it when you do the video on on YouTube. We could, if we have them, then we could add them in to that.
I got to find them on my phone, because I took them like yesterday or day before, and I've been doing taxes. So even this morning I was doing taxes, so I wasn't organized. But
yeah, send them to me, afterwards, and we'll incorporate them in the video, because we're,
Okay.
this will come out on Valerie's Facebook, so we can snip them in, like put them in. Yeah.
Yeah,
and I definitely will be going to
a little. Could you? I'm trying to
the
think.
IKEA. There's an IKEA here in the valley, so I'm gonna go shopping there. And I have my sewing room. I have lots of cabinets, but it's more or less for sewing machine and fabrics.
Right. Yeah. IKEA's great. I mean, I've found them really good for storage cabinets, so.
IKEA,
Okay.
could I just, Billy, could I just share one other thought about the IKEA cabinets? One of the things I was sorry I didn't do, my cabinets are all on wheels, so they could be rolled around, because I wasn't sure what the configuration was. If you looked at Laura's are fixed. They're not on wheels. And
Okay.
one of the things I've seen done with the Alex cabinets, they're called Alex cabinets that I used, I've seen people actually not put wheels on some of them and put them on top of each other.
Stack
Yeah.
them.
So you
Okay.
might want to do that. And Laura, you can have too many beads, because in one
No,
of
you can't.
because I did manage to take out the bottom of one of my IKEA cabinets up north in Chicago.
Oh no.
For the record.
Oh no.
If
It
you're
is possible.
if you're
They're
stacking
pretty
bead
sturdy.
cabinets,
I'm
if you're
sorry?
if you're stacking bead cabinets here in California, you need to bolt them to the wall
Oh
so
yeah.
that the upper ones will not fall on you in an earthquake.
Yeah.
I
Good point. Good
Right.
I have the IKEA Billy bookcases, and you can see them behind me, and they're all strapped at the top to studs so that they're not gonna fall over.
Exactly.
Very, very important reminder. Yeah.
Can I add something really quickly about something from IKEA that I found really helpful? So this is, I instead of using bead trays, real bead trays, I am now using, this is a bamboo tray
Yeah.
from IKEA, and it's in like the marketplace area, and it's got sides on it, which is really helpful. I keep it, and then I just put I use flannel in the bottom, which I don't know about you, but I end up with really dirty bottoms of my bead mats after a while. I need to throw them in the wash. So this can be thrown in the wash. And then we have 2 cats. Oh, I'm seeing Billy's right there.
Billy,
Well,
what's
that was, you walk in Target and they have like that little thing at the front where they have sales on trying to get you to buy. I only bought 2 of these and they're great because they have the holes you can put your beads. And then I put like the tray, the flannel pieces in the bottom because it's enough to bead on. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 trays for beads to go in there. I only bought 2 of them. They're really nice. I wish I bought more, but I also bought the wooden trays too, and in San Francisco to make jewelry on before I really start to bead it. But I'm just getting all these ideas. I think it's great. So we should try this again, ladies. So I'll know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm really sorry I'm late. I was unavoidably detained someplace and I got here soon, but I'll watch it. I'll watch it when it comes on YouTube.
okay? That's okay.
Yeah.
We're just glad you could make it in, at any time. And thank you for sharing your storage systems with us.
Yeah. Oh, such as they are. They're nothing like anybody else's that you
No,
guys
Each
like.
one is unique. That's the point. Each one is completely unique.
It's just like working out how your brain works, It's like, everyone's gonna have a different, it just sometimes it takes a while to figure out what works for you. But yeah.
Laura, can I ask you, why does my picture not come up?
Let's see, Mary. There should be some place where it says video and you can it's probably turned off.
I can't spotlight her, which is
I think the video on the iPad is.
Yeah, where is it? I don't know.
It's a green thing.
Well, it looks like a video camera.
Yeah,
Could you
yeah.
just-
I see it, but
Then click, if there's a line through it, click on it and your picture should come up.
well, there's not one. That's the thing. It's just it's there, but I could hear everything. I mean, it was great. Wait a second. I have a feeling this might have done it. Let me just see if that took it off. I had the do not disturb on so nobody could call me, but it's on now, but that didn't do it. All right, let's see.
You might need to go to your settings and change the permissions to use your camera.
Okay.
Yeah, to allow Zoom to use your camera. That's probably, that could be it.
Technology.
Well, at least I didn't
great
miss
until we
anything.
try to
It's
figure
just
out how to
weird
do
not to
it.
be on there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, anyone else have anything to share? Yes.
One other question, ladies. Do I send my pictures to who am I sending them to? To Laura or to?
Yeah, you can send them to me. It's my email address is justletmebead@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll get them to Valerie and we can clip them in there.
As many as you want, Billy. Like well, not too, like 5 or 6, okay?
Okay.
A little statement saying, what your storage system is about and how you came to make it that way, to organize things that way. And then I'll make a little slideshow for you, a little video for you. And then when I go to edit this video, our meeting, I'll add it in.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
Excellent.
Anyone else? Any comments, ideas, questions?
There it is.
Mary.
Hi, everybody. I finally found the thing to tap.
Oh, good.
Good job. Good job. So next month, as Laura said, our theme is going to be beads and travel. And it's a wide open theme. It's if you've gone on a beading cruise, you can show images from the cruise. You know, if you have found incredible beads in some interesting city or even in your hometown, you can share those. If you collect old pieces of beadwork and you've gone to far off locations to find them, you can share those. Okay. If I will not have time to make up slideshows for everybody, but I think we could probably make up a quick, Google Slides document or something. So just get started thinking about it. And then, even you could hold up some larger images of your bead travels. Okay.
And the date on that one's going to be May 30th.
Last Friday in May, and you know what? I did not think to check.
Yes, the 30th.
Okay, it's the 30th.
May 30th?
Yeah, week of Memorial Day.
Very
Yep, May 30th. Cool.
I'm planning on having a garage sale that weekend.
That's a good idea. Idea for any American person because we all have so much,
Well, it's the Friday after Memorial Day.
Yeah, it's the week of yeah.
Okay.
The 30th is what used to be Memorial Day.
Right.
But as long as you're on our master list, I'll send you the link a few days before the meeting. And if I really get my act together, I'll also send it to you on the day of the meeting. But that might be a little ways in the future yet. And if you know people who would like to join, just have them email Laura or me and say they want to join. And then we'll put them on the master list and then they'll always be invited unless they don't want to be.
Okay.
And if you guys have ideas for themes for upcoming meetings, please let us know. Okay. We're wide open.
We are.
Great.
Excellent.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for participating. And we'll see you in a month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye-bye.